If you have a Sony camera, this is an app that you definitely need to know about. If you want to wirelessly monitor your Sony camera, you can do that not only with your phone, with a tablet, but also with a Mac. Today, I'll be showing you how you can pair the Sony camera to my Mac here, and also go over some of the features that you can access via this app completely for free. And no, this is not a third-party app. This is a native app by Sony. If you haven't heard about it, you're going to like it. So yeah, let's get started. This app is the monitor and control app from Sony, and it is available for a bunch of different Sony cameras. As of December of 2025, these are all the cameras that are compatible with this app. And today I'll be trying it with my trusty old Sony a7 IV, which fortunately is also in this list. Before I continue though, I also want to say that you can access most of these features on this app completely for free. There are 2 paid tiers of this app as well if you want to access even further features. So if you have the basic paid version, for example, you're able to change controls of multiple cameras in a multicam setting all at once. Or if you run a larger multicam production and you want to monitor all of those cameras on the Mac, you're able to do that with the premium tier. And this is really cool because it says you can monitor with up to 20 connected units. So yeah. So once you have the monitor and control app installed, you can, and also be linking you to the Sony website where you can download it from in the description below. But once you have it installed, you can open it up on your computer. So let's set this up. So we'll connect to our camera via Wi-Fi. You can also use other methods as well, USB, wired LAN, or tethering via Wi-Fi too, but we'll use Wi-Fi in this demonstration. So one thing to keep in mind is that when you connect to the Mac version of the monitor and control app, it's going to be a little bit different than when you connect to the phone. On the phone, it's a very straightforward process where you can use Bluetooth and then it'll recognize the camera and you can directly connect to it. Also, if you're connecting this to the Mac, your Mac has to be using Apple Silicon, so M1 and above. On the Mac, what I'm doing is connecting this to the Wi-Fi at my home as the access point, and then using the Mac to connect to and find the camera via that access point. So this is how I'm doing it. So under network, going to Wi-Fi, access point set, and it will find my Wi-Fi network. And I'm just gonna block that password. Press OK. So once it's connected, it will say that the priority connection is set to this Wi-Fi network. So once that's on, and remote shooting is also enabled, this will show up on screen. So you click on connect, and then you'll need an access authentication. And this is something that you'll find here on the camera. Remote shooting, select on, and then you can access your authentication information. So I'll access mine and I'll connect to this. You can also access that by going to menu, network, network option, access authentication info. So username, and then make sure that the fingerprint is the same as you have it on your camera. You can click on connect, and there you go. There I am right here, connected on the Mac right there. So it's a little bit of a process as opposed to connecting just to your smartphone. But once you get the hang of it and you set it up one time, next time it will be a lot easier for you to set it up. And right there, I'm recording my screen right here so you can see what I have right there. This is my Mac. This is recording myself. Let's go over some of the settings here. As you can see, it's pretty much the same as the phone app. Most of the features stay the same. And some of these features are going to look a little bit different depending on the camera that you have. So if you have a cinema camera, for example, some of these settings might be a little bit different. Right here, I have it connected to the Sony a7 IV, and these are all the settings that I see. So first of all, I'm shooting in S-Log3 and PPE8. So what I'm going to do is just enable Gamma Display Assist so that we can see all of this in Rec 709. And you can also change the live view to high res as well if you want it to be a little bit more high res. So this is high res or low res right there. Here you're able to access all your different monitoring tools. You can have your CBRS on, you can have Gamma Display Assist, you have a snapshot which is not available. You have to go on a subscription if you want to use this. There's the waveform, There's the histogram. And if you have these selected, for example, if you have the false color and zebras, is that these will show up here as quick settings. So this is false color, zebras, and the waveform. If I don't want that to show up, for example, let's turn off waveform and zebras, they get removed from the top right here. You're also able to access some of these options as well to fine tune, for example, your zebras, your zebra range, and all of that kind of stuff. You also have markers that you can access. You want a center marker, like so. Again, if you click on the settings on the left here, that means that it'll show up as quick access buttons on the top. And unfortunately, you can only have a maximum of 3. So this is why what this is happening. You only can access 3. So either those 2, for example, or those 3, or if I want grid line aspect safety zone, then these ones are going to be up top. You can also have a desqueeze option. So if you're shooting with anamorphic lenses, you have anamorphic desqueeze, and there's all of these squeeze factors that you're able to select depending on the type of anamorphic lens you're using. You can also flip the screen, rotate it as well if you are shooting vertical content. At the bottom here, you have all your exposure settings, so you can control your iris or your aperture. And one really cool thing is that you can just do that and change the aperture on your camera. How cool is that? You can change your ISO, your shutter. This should be actually 1/50th because I'm shooting close to 24 frames per second. You can also change this to manual focus and just use your mouse to adjust that focus. You can change that transition speed of the autofocus, the subject shift sensitivity of the autofocus as well, change the autofocus focus area, and a bunch of these autofocus settings that normally you have to go and dig in your camera menus in order for you to access those settings. Now, if you have this on a Mac or on your app, it is completely easy to access. One really cool thing too is you're able to see, once you have the autofocus, how that bar, the autofocus bar, moves by itself. So pretty neat. Shutter, you can also have variable shutter as well. So this is pretty neat. If you're having some banding with your lighting and stuff, you can use variable shutter. White balance, your look. You can also select your zoom settings, whether you want to use clear image zoom, digital zoom, or optical zoom only. Stabilization, and your recording format, so you can select directly here very quickly what recording format you want to record in. So super useful to have. There are other settings here as well, multi-metering mode, auto exposure lock, and all of that stuff. So it's pretty neat. And once you click on record here, I'm here recording in my camera right there, and you're able to hold that. So it just keeps recording and hold. Once you have it held, for example, you can't press any, you are not able to stop recording there. So it's a good safety feature. Let's unhold that and stop recording. You can also lock the entire screen. So if somebody comes along and just happens to click on your computer screen and some settings change, you don't have to worry about that because you can just lock all your settings, all your exposure settings and everything. You can even also adjust this as well, whether you want to shoot in auto, program auto, and all of these different things. You can have tracking turned on, and yeah, a lot of different settings that you can have directly monitoring it directly from your Mac. So this is really cool, very neat, and I'm very glad that Sony has introduced this for us to use for free on a Mac. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you think you'll be using this feature to monitor your Sony camera wirelessly. And that's it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one, which is one of these two right here that you can click on. So I'll see you there. Bye.